Hi guys, it's your girl aka Lotus Spice, and thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have you guys stopping by. Now, how are you all doing? Because we're here getting ready for Thanksgiving, and those of you outside of the US who do not celebrate Thanksgiving, how is it going? Are you guys getting ready for Christmas? Well, maybe by the time you get this video or get to view this video, it will be long gone, but we're here preparing and getting ready for Thanksgiving, okay? And it's going great. Now, as usual, I have some of my subscribers who tend to reach out to me from time to time asking me on topics or my input on various situations. Now, because of that, one of my subscribers reached out to me and asked me to do a discussion or a feedback or a presentation on a migrant filing for bankruptcy, or while they're about to sponsor their relative, and in this case it's their parents. So here it is today, and thanks for that feedback, and I'm happy that you guys are actually listening and asking for, what I've come upon or research upon to present on various topics that you guys can benefit or interested in. So let's get into the meat of the matter on filing for bankruptcy and sponsoring for a family member or relative or even partner or spouse. America is known to be the land of opportunity. However, oftentimes individuals may need a start over, because although it's a land of opportunity, as a migrant, things may not be so smooth at first, and as a result, a migrant may feel the need for a restart, and that's what bankruptcy actually allows: a restart, a recharge. However, on the flip side and the downsides of this recharging, there is some pitfalls if one should file for bankruptcy. Whether a citizen of the United States or a green card holder, it doesn't matter. There's a downside and a flip side to it, right? So individuals may argue and wonder or querying like, I've got caught up in bills and debtors are bombarding me with paying my bills, or I fall short in paying my bills on time. And oftentimes immigrants may fall in this trap because of discrimination. They may fall into the trap of having to file for bankruptcy because they may lose their job, right? They may divorce from a spouse and end up being a single parent and fall short or fall behind on their bills. They may become ill, right? And end up losing their job and end up having extensive medical bills, and as a result they may find themselves trapped and bombarded and anxious and depressed. Even some may become suicidal, believe it or not. Finances or misfinances or falling short on finances is one of the most depressing factors, which is known and research has shown to affect the American citizen, right? So as a result, if you're an immigrant or a green card holder and you want to file for citizenship, normally USCSI, right, is prohibited to prevent you from filing for citizenship because you have filed for bankruptcy. Yes. And if you're unsure, you can reach out to a lawyer. But just in case you do not have a lawyer fee and you're just wondering or contemplating, yes, it is prohibited. It won't grant you citizenship because you have filed for bankruptcy. No. What they're usually interested in is to know that you are of good moral character standing, right? Good character, no criminal activity, you're paying your taxes. Now that is one thing you want to make sure. If you're a green card holder, citizen, you want to make sure you pay your taxes. Once you pay those, bankruptcy or filing for bankruptcy is not a pitfall for not gaining citizenship. Which leads on to the question, if I'm filing or if you're filing for or sponsoring for an individual to come to the US, will that impede you? And the answer is no, it will not impede you. While many individual circumstances are unique, I must say, because not everyone's situation is a cookie cutter clear situation. So there may be discrepancies and there may be variations. However, the bigger picture is that sponsoring or filing for citizenship or sponsoring for a relative or a spouse after filing for bankruptcy, affecting that sponsorship or filing for citizenship is prohibited by USCIS to do. They can't hold you accountable or look into those matters. As a matter of fact, they're not even supposed to look into your tax return filing. However, they will pay attention to see if you pay your taxes on time, okay? And filing for bankruptcy, please do your background research on it, because there are different types of bankruptcy. However, the two common types are Chapter 7, right, and Chapter 13. Chapter 7 normally occurs in a shorter space of time when you file for it. It is usually the cheaper of the two, yes, somewhere about $380 or more, a little bit more, right? But roughly that amount. And please find out from your lawyer, whoever you're filing this report with, if they allow you to pay this fee upfront or before you file. But you can also check with them to see if they will allow you to do a payment plan. Okay, so if you don't have the money upfront, check to see if there's a payment plan. And on the other side, with Chapter 13, it is normally more costly, anywhere from $2,000 or more to $6,000 just to file this tax. And while Chapter 7 is shorter and you can get a return within 4 months or a little over, with Chapter 13, it may take years. It says 36 months to 60 months. So you're looking at roughly 3 years to 5 years, right? Now, another thing while looking in and researching was mentioned is that with Chapter 13, it's less likely for you to lose assets. And losing assets such as house or your home and your car, and those are just some examples. In other words, you can use, say, bankruptcy exemption, which can protect your assets to some extent. And with Chapter 13, an individual who I spoke to, they said that they end up filing for Chapter 13, which they really wanted to do Chapter 7. But what happened is that the lawyer that they were filing with would not allow them to do a payment plan to file for Chapter 7, right? And the payment plan for Chapter 7 would have taken longer for Chapter to do. So they filed for Chapter 13, which took way longer than they expected, and they did not get an immediate relief from these debtors and tax. As a matter of fact, the filing fell through. And you have to be careful, because when you file for bankruptcy, especially with Chapter 13, the filing can fall through and you return to the same spot where you were in debt in the beginning. So you have to be mindful. You have to speak to your lawyer, speak to your financial advisor, or just speak to individuals who maybe went through the same thing or who may also have knowledge on such, right? So you have to be very careful. From what I see, I think and with Chapter 13, I believe you have to earn somewhere between 400,000, at least up to that, but not over. And with Chapter 13, you have to be very careful, because like I said, it may take longer. So it will be a drawn out situation, and it may fall through the cracks, and you may not. It is called a bankruptcy release, right? When it falls through the crack and you do not end up getting a relief from these debtors, because it's like they decline the proposal. And that brings me to the point that whenever you file for bankruptcy, you have to apply. And they're going to look at your possible disposable income, your income for your bills and payments, and if you're able to pay back these individuals. They're going to look at all of that and take all of that into consideration before they actually approve you. So it's something that you file for. So what you want to do if you're contemplating bankruptcy or to file for bankruptcy is you want to speak with a financial advisor or someone who may have some sort of knowledge in that field. Be wary of speaking to a lawyer, because a lawyer is always probably going to encourage you. But some lawyers may deter you and say, oh, a good lawyer may deter you and tell you, try and see if there's some other option before you do. May this be a last resort, because filing for bankruptcy can be a big setback. With bankruptcy Chapter 7, it takes roughly 10 years before you can actually lease probably an apartment on your own, lease aka rent, right? Or purchase a home. Or in some instances, be approved for loans or credit cards. 10 years. That's a big setback. With Chapter 13, which takes longer and more expensive, it may take 7 to 10 years before you can actually purchase a home, lease or rent a home, purchase cars, obtain a loan, whatever loan. So if you're contemplating bankruptcy, my advice to you is try and see if there's some other option. Because while it may give you a start over, it may not necessarily be the best option in the long run. And also, when you file for bankruptcy, sometimes your salary is garnished and it follows you. If you get a new job, your company or your HR is gonna be aware, because sometimes they actually go into your salary and you have to pay. So while you'll be forgiven for some debt, there's some debt that you still won't be forgiven, or you'll have to liquidate. Maybe you have to lose your house, your car. So you have to be very mindful. And if you do not have such assets, you may end up with zero. Like I said, your salary can be garnished. When you're looking for a salary or thinking you're going to get an income, you're told that no, you have to still pay some amount to your debtors. So while bankruptcy may allow you to restart, it may not, in some instances, allow you to be clear from all debt. Some debts you still may have to pay, such as student loan. Yes, that is one debt that you still gonna be expected to pay. It's not forgivable. even in a bankruptcy filing. Student loan. So my advice is, if you're contemplating a bankruptcy, please make it be a last. If not, a never situation. And that's just my feedback. I've spoken to others and that's also their views on it. Like, may that be your last resort or possible never resort. But once again, if you're filing for or sponsoring individuals, filing for bankruptcy will definitely not affect. But however, you know, where I'm from, back in my country, and probably others, there's a saying where the elders or old people normally say, prevention is better than cure. And I strongly believe in that. Because when you're filing for citizenship as a green card holder or sponsoring someone, the aim is to pay attention to your character as an individual, right? Your moral character. And not being able to pay your bill or filing for bankruptcy is two different things. That has nothing to do with your moral character. If you're a good, upstanding citizen, no criminal activity or no criminal participation or situation. Okay, so that's what to pay attention. So if you're gonna file for your family, feel free to go ahead. Okay, it shouldn't affect. But like I said, old people always say prevention is better than cure. So you drop a comment below, guys, and tell me what you think. What has been your experience? Have you ever filed for bankruptcy? How was it? Do you regret and probably think that, okay, if you had just given yourself another time and probably try and think positive and figure out maybe getting a second job or a third job to see if you could pay these bills and catch up with these bills? Tell me. And then there's another thing before I go, guys. In some instances, it is said that if you know you're going to file for bankruptcy, you may run up your credit cards or run up bill to pay items. What I get to understand, you're going to have to pay back those because they do a background, they do a check. You're going to have to show your income statement and they check, right, on those things. And if they realize that you did these purchases just before, you may very well have to pay back. The only things you may be exempted and not asked to pay back is like probably your groceries, your, gas. But if you're going to buy like luxury items, they may zoom into it and ask to pay back before you file for bankruptcy. Okay, guys? So like I said, drop your comment below. What do you think? What's your view? Well, my view, guys, is prevention is better than cure. So avoid at all cost. In other words, never. If you have to, figure out ways, speak to relatives, see how you can get another job, whatever it is, guys. Okay, and that's my views today. So drop your comment below. Let me know what you think. What's your feedback? All right, and thanks for joining. Christmas is coming. How's the Christmas going on for you guys? Are you guys ready? Yay, my favorite time. So I'll see you soon. All right, peace.